Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 6 of this edition of the UK&I Monday Night Skip Barber Series, live here on RaceSpotTV. Tonight we are racing at Tsukuba Circuit in Shimotsuma of Japan. It's a 1.27 mile racetrack with 9 turns in it. It's fast and it's short, and it's got quite a few overtaking opportunities, even though it's really tight, so we're in for another great race here today. We're doing this broadcast as always in association with the Calm Zone, so please go check them out. We got 43 drivers at the moment signed up for the race, and we are currently in qualifying. People struggling with grip as always around these tracks. And looking at the championship standings here, Ewan Pattinson still leading the way, 15 points ahead of Simon Edwards, and another 13 ahead of Lee Anderson in third. Will Redford and Lee Hughes battling it out for 4th position, and it's getting really tight at the top here as we're coming to the halfway point of the season. Then at the end we're going to have 2 drop weeks as well, so Edwards will close that gap up to Pattinson. Temperatures today, 24 degrees in the air, 29 currently on the track, and mostly cloudy. We've got just about half a minute left here of qualifying, and Rachel, as it looks, all our championship contenders at the front as usual.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's looking to be one of those hot shot races where it's 24 laps around to see the circuit here in Japan, and with Lee Hughes, PM Jones, Edwards, Anderson and co at the front. It's going to be incredibly busy. I'm looking forward to an exciting race. Let's not count out the likes of Paul Grillo to be a fact here, and Reece Saunders also putting in a really good time so far.
Yeah, he's way up at the top there as well. Currently Lee Hughes leading the way though, and Ben Daniels go on board with him here, but he's going to pull over. Here comes Nicholas Vaughan Roberts. He's going to make it. He's just going to make it to the line, but he's not going to be able to improve, and that is it for qualifying. So let's go through the starting grid. It's going to be Lee Hughes putting it on pole position ahead of Anthony PM Jones, Simon Edwards in third, and Lee Anderson in 4th. Paul Grillo 5th, Will Redford in 6th, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 7th, Reece Saunders with a good qualifying there up in 8th, Ben Evans in 9th, Daniel Tufts in 10th, and it's Ben Daniels in 11th, Andrew Baranowski in 12th, Adam Miles 13th, Clark Williams in 14th, Dave Kirkman in 15th, Ray Peasley in 16th, Mark Langford in 17th, Chris J. Morris in 18th, Dave M. Dowson in 19th, and Seth Brown in P number 20, rounding out the top 20 there. And as you can see here, our 1 second bracket goes all the way down to Christopher Miles in 22nd. Lap time's just over a minute as well, so bound to be very tight here today, but with everybody being all this close together, I think we can expect even better race than we usually see around this track. And last time we were here, I think that was a couple of seasons ago, we had some pretty big moments. Everybody seems to be on the grid though, engines are revving, everybody quick to grid here, the green flag is out, and we are racing at Tsukuba, not waiting about here at all. It's going to be a good start though from Paul to Lee Hughes, and they're going to be 3 wide a little bit further back there. I think that's 5th place. Paul Grillo didn't get a very good start. He's going to be losing a ton of positions on the outside there as Saunders comes through. As does Redford, and Saunders picks up another position there, so he's up to P number 6 straight away, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. Redford took a huge dive there as all round goes Vaughan Roberts on the apex there of turn number 3. Big problems for him there. He got off the track though, he's not rejoining yet. So nicely recovered there for him. Could have been a hairy moment with such heavy traffic cleaners at the front. Things still pretty sharp. But Will Redford got a great start. He jumped right up towards the front, getting past Grillo and co. And that made a lot of difference for him there around those drivers. A little bit further back there, like you mentioned, things are definitely getting pretty busy here.
Oh, we got a massive crash at the back as well, just ahead of Vaughan Roberts. That's going to be Mark Redford. Alan Patterson is in that. Steve Lowe back in the hairpin. There were some 4 or 5 cars involved in that. Most of them got going though. See if we're able to get a replay of that. Meanwhile, Vaughan Roberts, he dropped down to 35th. He's back up to 31st here. We just see side by side into the corner. That's the 32 of Alan Patterson and Mark Redford next to him.
Redford came across.
Gonna come into turn 7 here. He just drives straight into the back of him, and then they pile in from behind. That's yeah, just stacking up here on lap number 1, going into the hairpins and not anticipating it checking up enough. So eventful first lap there, halfway through lap 2, and we got another crash now. Sorry, that's David Dowson getting turned into the wall. He's going to rejoin though, but his wing is gone, and I believe that was Tim Adcock who drove into the back of him. Yeah, so going to be another replay here, I think. Coming through the S's here, onto the brakes, and right in the middle here, just a slight tap there from the number 5 of there is no number 5 in the field. Yeah, there is Kevin Budgeon in 24th, hit the back. But now coming to complete lap number 2 already, it's Leah Hughes leading the way from Anthony PM Jones, Simon Edwards, Lee Anderson and Will Redford. Reece Saunders back there in 6th, so finally back to some live action here at the front of the field.
Yeah, absolutely, Linus. It definitely got a little busy for a while as Saunders does lead the way. Redford still racing here around Lee Anderson. Lee Anderson's got 4th place, pretty locked down right now. Edwards, Jones and Hughes making a bit of a start at the front, trying to get some distance here, as this track's definitely been hard on the tyres. We've seen a lot of lockups actually entering the corners. Lots of smoke plumes as those guys are basically hopping those wheels coming in. It's affecting their corner speed.
Yeah, it is. They've been struggling with grip all day long, and as we know, these Japanese tracks, they do have a little bit less grip than normal tracks. As we have a car there in the background locking up the brakes again, but he's going to be able to keep going. I believe that was Daniel Tufts back in P number 8. No positions lost there though, so we're still going here. But yeah, they do that quite a bit here, not getting the temps up. I don't know what it is, but maybe they're just pushing too hard. At the front though, we have a 3-car breakaway here. They use PM Jones and Edwards, not much of a gap, but it could be enough, especially at a track like this where there isn't much draft. As soon as the draft starts taking effect down the straight, you have to brake for turn number 1, and you can see again there, 5th place Will Redford locking up into turn number 1, as is Ben Daniels back in P12, I believe that was. So a lot of cars struggling here. I don't think it's going to wear the tyres up, but it's definitely going to have some sort of an effect as Paul Grillo locks up there going into turn number 6 as well.
Yeah, certainly are, and we had a bit of a moment there, as I believe we had a slow car in the apex there. I'm going to try and find out who that was for you, Linus. He had a bit of a moment. He'd gotten slightly sideways. Not sure it was an actual crash, but as much as a solo spin there, that would be the number 667. Chris Bassett had a bit of a moment, but he's getting himself going just again.
Yes, and you can see just a long line of cars here. They're not really able to break away as much as I thought they would, but still some small gaps forming. Now we're on board here with Chris Bassett, who had that moment. He's coming into the final corner here, running almost side by side with Kevin Budgeon, but he's going to drop in behind him as they're coming onto the front straightaway, and it's a very short straightaway. The lap, like we said, is just 1.25 mile here, so very short track, not a lot of time to get up to too high speeds, but he's going to stay behind the 5-car here of Kevin Budgeon nicely through that corner. No big lockups this time, so up to pace, see if he can climb back up through the field here, but he's got Tim Adcock behind him, and then Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, who started 7th and spun on the first lap. He's in 26th, so he might be coming up through this little group here in just a moment. He should be a little bit quicker than these guys, but obviously not easy to overtake. Just need to set him up and make the crossover, and then get the run into the corner. He's going to go to the outside of the 21 car in front of him. That's Tim Adcock for P25. You can see more lockups there. Is smoke from the cars in front, and it looks like Vaughan Roberts is going to get that position.
Yeah, he's working his way forwards here, trying to recover from that early incident he was involved in, of course. Bit of a solo on for him, but he managed to make it through there just fine. Up at the front, we're here now on lap number 6. Laps fly by here, almost as quickly as Lime Rock Park, Linus, at Tsukuba Circuit. As it's still going to be the Leah Hughes show, those 3 at the front breaking away. The gap's not really increased much as we thought it might. They're still relatively close to Lee Anderson in 4th place. But if we look at their qualifying order, so far, we look at our 1 second ballpark, and that takes us all the way down. Sorry, go ahead.
We had a bit of a moment there, so on the left side of the screen, cars getting sideways, but it seems like Diol was able to keep going. They said, no, that was actually John Edwards parked on the side of the road. Looked like that was going to be big, but he managed to collect it and just stop at the side, so no real incident there. Go on, back to you, Rachel.
Absolutely no. I mean, it seems as though these guys are really getting it together, but the 1 second bracket is 22 cars. That's a pretty good indicator of a close race, so we're seeing just that.
Yeah, definitely. You can just see down the front straightaway here, back straightaway, sorry. Long train of cars, just small gap still. The front group, though, has just over a second now from Edwards in 3rd, down to Lee Anderson in 4th, sorry. So these guys, they are slightly breaking away, and if they can get over about 1.5 seconds away, they might be able to have enough to break that little bit of draft that you have. It's not much around this track, but it's still 1 or 2 tenths every lap, so they are not passing each other at all. These guys, they've been nose to tail, not changed position once throughout this race. So Liu's qualified on pole position. He has the fastest lap of the race, so these guys behind probably just happy sitting there for now, but there's not much of a gap. There's a 4-car group behind as well. Anderson, Redford, Saunders and Grillo down to 7th there, and another group back behind them. But the top 10 spread out by just over 5 seconds, so one small mistake here costing you a second or two, and that will be it. As we see, Mark Murphy here has parked on pit lane. Not sure what happened to him. We're going to get a replay of that. As he's battling here with the number 5 car. That was budging in the 37 as well. They get it together, and that's actually Murphy in the 7. He just gets hit from the inside and spins out, and that's race over for him.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a race going on right now between Daniel Tufts and the 43 machine of Ben Evans. These two have been side by side since the last corner, and they are still side by side here. As I don't think it's... Oh, finally comes clear about turn 7 here, Linus. This has been a pretty close race with this little pack back here. They're not too far back from your leaders, but they're a little bit far enough that inside comes Evans, fighting back now on Tufts, and he can get a chance here to get past him. Corner will be in his favour now as they come up now to the penultimate corner on the lap, and it's really been a very dicey little battle this last lap here. Lap number 8, and they're still going to get hardcore.
Yeah, they're still side by side. Looks like Evans is going to get the upper hand here, though. We're on board with Ben Daniels on your right side. You can see what they're doing ahead, and we've already had a couple of lookups since we went to this battle. As diving up the inside there is Adam Miles. He gets a bit sideways, but he's able to collect it, and it looks like he's going to be able to get up to 9th position here. He's not going to have the overspeed. Those are Tufts. He's going to hold on to it. Daniels is right there trying to get involved. Here he comes again, looking up the inside. Oh, locks up and hits the back of Tufts. Sends Tufts wide, but he's going to stay on the track. That's going to cost him a couple of positions. That's going to be 1 position for Miles, but could potentially be nose or front wing damage there. Not going to hurt him too much since they don't go so fast around here, but still, any damage will affect you slightly and could be enough to lose to the back of this group. Here comes Daniels again. He's going to look up the inside, not going to have any gap there though. So now we will see, has he got speed, or is that a little bit of front damage going to hurt him? It doesn't look like it. Daniels creeps ever so slightly closer here. He's going to look up the inside into the final corner. Is that going to be a smart move though, as the 85 on the outside is going to have a lot more speed onto the straightaway? He is, so they're going to stay positioned for now. But Ben Evans ahead of these guys, he's got a slight gap, so if they start battling now for P9, sorry, Ben Evans, he's just going to set sail on these boys.
Yeah, he absolutely is, Linus. It's definitely becoming one of those very tumultuous races here where guys are looking for any opportunity, and it's literally taking almost a lap to make some of these passes work because of how the lap layout is and how slow the corners are. They're not really getting that advantage that they would like to see, and that has a big impact on how this whole thing plays forwards. We are looking at some lap traffic actually here ahead of your race leaders. Now this will be a factor, I think, in the very near future, as we're looking a bit further back right now at this second grouping here with the 85. And Adam Miles there. Behind him, Ben Daniels, Daniel Tufts, Clark Williams, Andrew Baranowski. This group's definitely been one of our biggest fighting packs recently, and there's a move looking likely. Here comes Evans. Actually, that's Daniels, so it's the 40 of Ben Daniels there. Up the inside of the final corner. Side by side here, coming off the runoff. Right next to each other, wheel to wheel. Into turn 1, who will have the advantage. Big wide entry here from Miles could be advantageous. Nope, through will come Ben Daniels, seals the deal early with a great line.
Yeah, doesn't look like he's got a lot of damage to the front of that car after that incident, so probably doesn't hurt him, but Daniel's obviously a little bit quicker there, and you could see a few cars ahead of him. There was another lockup in the hairpin, so they're still struggling with that now 10 laps into the race. We're on lap 11 now, so see if that has any effect on the front wheels towards the end. I don't think it'll be too bad, but now Daniels is taking up the hunt on Ben Evans in P number 8, and he's already creeping closer. You can see him there. In a couple of laps he's going to be able to make a move, and have to see what happens here if he's able to keep up, but they're pulling away ahead. So a little bit side by side there between Saunders and Grillo as well, going into the final corner, disappearing out of the frame there. But it looks like Saunders, so he almost made that position up, but he's going to back him behind again. So Grillo going to hold on to that, but here comes Saunders. There's a lap car on the left, that's the 41. Saunders is going to back out the Grillo slightly sideways into the first corner, and just ahead of him as well, Redford and Anderson is going at it. Meanwhile, our 3 leaders still in a train here at the front, driving away, but they're battling for 4th here, they're battling for 6th, and now they're back into a 4-car battle. So Saunders doing all he can to get yet another position here. I think this will be one of his best results in this championship ever if he can hold on, or possibly score a top 5 here. So a good day for Reece Saunders so far.
Absolutely. Want to get back here, Adam Miles. We've got Reece Saunders there in 7th place. He's just ahead of these guys, but just behind him is a spicy battle. It's kicked off yet again here between Miles Tufts and Williams, as Reece Saunders in that number 2 machine up in 7th place right now. Really is pushing forwards. There you go, Baranowski at the rear of that group, getting involved here as they're side by side yet again. They're desperate for this. Oh, a little bit of contact there ahead of him between Miles and Daniels, and it's almost a mirror of last lapliness with them 2 wide, just coming off that dirt runoff there on the final corner across the main straight. And this time there'll be a little bit more overlap. Could it? No, won't be enough still. And the 34 makes it through. That would be Daniel Tufts.
Yeah, these guys, they've been going at it all race long, and they're not stopping. Here's the lap car again, gonna probably get out of the way yet again. It's the 41 there of Mark Cadmore. He's done a great job so far to everybody that's caught up to him, and he's not gonna get in the way here either. They're gonna have to go around him, but he's done a good job there staying to the side. And this group right here, they were with Ben Daniels and Ben Evans earlier, but the Ben's been able to drive away because of all this battling. So they're having their own little battle for 8th and 9th, so this is for the bottom spot in the top 10 as of now. But it's going to be Daniel Tufts leading the way ahead of Adam Miles, Andrew Baranowski, Clark Williams, and then Mark Langford in 14th at the back of this group. See what they can do as they come onto the straightaway. Here's Adam Miles. He's going to be able to set him up. They're all wide over the curb there, and it's not a long straightaway, so you're going to have to make an early dive. He's a look there on the inside from Baranowski, but he's not going to do anything. So looks like these guys are settling down for now. Coming through the S's though, they're sort of spread out, and Langford at the back of that group, he's starting to drop off again when they stop battling in front of him, so he might be struggling to keep up. And group behind there, Knight, Kirkman, Peasley, they're sort of spread out as well, so no real big battles now at the moment, even though there is quite a few smaller groups of 3s and 4s all the way around the track. Oh,
just keeping an eye here on Ben Daniels. He's racing with Ben Evans. This is for 9th and 10th place. Those two are just all over each other here. Ben Daniels on board with him, and you can just see the approach down to the second to last corner here. This technically it's the last corner. It's a very long last corner, but they were right on top of each other at the previous corner. These two definitely looking at they'll have something to say before the end of the race. Lap 14 here, or 15, sorry, of 24. But more interestingly, our second group here is really coalescing. This group just ahead of them, tipped by going to be Will Redford with Lee Anderson, Paul Grillo, Reece Saunders there. They've been nose to tail in this group. There's Redford, of course, at the front there in the white and green machine, next to the Woods car. They are all over each other, and we've not seen a lot of passing from this group. They seem to be staying relatively together, although leaders up front are ploughing past lap traffic here. No real slowdown for them. These guys have to work together if they want to catch back up again, Linus.
Yeah, they are now just under 5 seconds behind all leaders, and the leaders, they have not made a single attempt, as far as I've seen, to pass each other. And we are coming on to lap number 16 now, so 15 laps completed. There's only 9 laps to go, and there's yet to be a single move made for the lead. So Leah Hughes is just pulling these other two along, driving away from this group that we're following here on the left. That's Lee Anderson having a look up the inside of Will Redford, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Paul Grillo there and Saunders as well, holding on to the back of this group. But it's gonna start heating up here now with 9 laps to go. It's getting go time, especially when it's so hard to pass, and it takes over a lap sometimes to complete the pass. You might want to start doing it now if you want to get to the front of this group, because I don't think they have any chance at catching the front 3 unless they make a mistake. But Anderson now coming into turn number 8, second to last hairpin. See if he can set him up now into the final corner. He's going to be a peak on the outside there by Grillo. That's going to let Saunders peek up the inside of him, but not going to be close enough to do anything. So who's going to have the best speed now coming down into the final corner onto the longest straightaway of the track? It's not very long, but might be enough here at the end of the race to be able to make a move. They're all going to be wide on the entry, then tight on the apex, and then well over the curb here on the exit. As you can see, Anderson going to keep it tighter though. He might have a run. He's going to look up the inside. He might even be defending from Paul Grillo actually, as no moves are being made just yet. As you see Saunders lock up there at the back again, so that's still an issue. I think he got a little bit too close to Grillo there though, so that might have played a role in that. Meanwhile behind there, that group is getting bigger again as the Benz have lost the gap that they had down to Daniel Tubbs. So that group is back up to 7 cars again, battling it out from P number 8 all the way down to P14.
It is indeed. Car last in that trail being Mark Langford there in the 20. He's brought the back of this group all the way forwards here with these guys, and this is now a pretty big pack, like you said, 7 cars. Instead of those 4, of course, but right behind them we've got Jack Knight with Dave Kirkman there, running 15th, 16th in a 2 car with just behind them Ray Peasley. Nicholas Vaughan Roberts has recovered somewhat. He's in 18th right now, Linus, but he's still got quite a gap to the guys ahead of him, with Christopher Miles and Seth Brown running just behind them. Then we've got a trio, which is Kevin Budgeon, Chris Bassett and Tim Adcock back there, with Christopher Kane and Christopher Keeble running together. It's Chris Squared. Daryl Bull is running with Simon Maltby. They're back in 26th, 27th. And just behind those guys, last car on the lead lap, in fact, is going to be Peter Parnell. Other than that, everybody else is a lap down from 29th onwards. And the field is really, really spread out throughout the distance of a lap here. It's lapping only 1 minute and 2 seconds average. And the last car is probably going to be lapped before the end of this race here, bringing us down to 27 on that lead lap. But we have cars literally throughout this lap, all spread by 2, 3, 4 seconds. It's pretty even. And it seems the track is playing a big factor.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually getting faster. That last time by, Anthony P.M. Jones in second, he set the fastest lap of the race. So it's just getting faster and faster, and before the end of this race, we might creep down to sub 1 minute 1 second lap times if we're lucky, as we're seeing them here now coming past another lap car. It's P.M. Jones in second, right up the back of Leaus, and Simon Edwards actually set the fastest lap that time by beating P.M. Jones's lap by 2 1,000ths of a second. As we see, is that Ben Daniels off the track there. He's had a bit of an incident. He's going to rejoin though after contact with Ben Evans, so they're going to rejoin in 16th and 18th well ahead and behind of Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, who's in 17th. You see a replay there, they just get run out of space coming into the final corner and go off the track, and Ben Daniels lost the rear wing. Ben Evans has some damage to his front wing, so a little bit of a Ben sandwich there going into the final corner. But PM Jones still at the back here, Leaus in the lead with Simon Edwards behind in third, and they're getting faster and faster, but still no moves being made anywhere. And we are now coming to complete lap number 19, so it's going to be 5 laps to go this time by. He's going to make a move this time, he's going to get close, but it's not going to be enough, and he's actually going to brake earlier than Leaus this time. He's getting close on the exit. I don't know if he's setting him up or if he's just not got enough speed, but at this point I don't think they're just hanging around anymore. It's probably just that they can't get there.
It is entirely possible, yeah, with the way this is going. It's a really tricky track to get anything done. Like we saw previously, it takes almost the whole lap to get a pass really completed here, Linus. So it's almost one of those tracks where maybe the Skippys almost a little bit big for it with how many turns there are. It ends up being a little bit tight for them without the power. Needed to really accelerate on these short straights, and that's the big problem with Tsukuba for these cars. You have lots of corners and only a couple of straights where they can really get their legs on, and Skippys are largely draft cars unless you're going to dive bomb into corners. And we've already found out with how big these corners are in terms of their just radius, they end up really needing good speed into them.
Yeah, here they come again now, 4 laps to go. PM Jones now, he's closer to Leaus than he's ever been, but Leaus just has the straight line speed. He drives away that time. Oh, big lock up there as well from Simon Edwards, who almost runs into the back of PM Jones. but he's going to be able to hold on to that car, thankfully. So no incident there. See if that's going to affect him or not, but he gets closer again. He dropped a couple of tenths, but he's right onto the back of Anthony once more. So still a 3-car battle here for the lead. 2.5 laps to go. That would be actually 3.5 laps to go, sorry. And then behind them it's still Redford, Anderson, Grillo and Saunders in that order. They've been close, they've been trying to pass each other a couple of times, but they seem to not be able to pass each other anymore either, because if somebody gets up next to the car in front of him, that car gets a better exit and drives off again, as you saw Saunders again there with a bit of a lock up into turn number 8. Now there's a lapped car in front of him again, see if he moves out of the way. He's done it for our leader, so he might do it for these guys too. Here they come now into the final corner. Going to get 3 laps to go now on board with Rhys Saunders. He's going to slide a little bit wider here on the exit than the car in front of him of Paul Grillo. That's definitely going to affect his speed. The 4th and 5th place cars, they're moving to the inside here of the lap car, and everybody's going to get through nicely. Saunders, he is struggling though, but he's keeping up, so holding on to 7th position. But this group, I believe, is going to be between Will Redford and Lee Anderson for that 4th position, as the other two can't really seem to keep up. Meanwhile, at the front though, it's Lee Hughes, PM Jones and Simon Edwards still in that train, and no moves have yet to been made, as we are on lap 22, coming to complete that lap, and it's going to be 2 laps to go next time by, Rachel.
Yeah, certainly it's getting really close to the end here, but these guys have really shown, whilst they've shown off speed and they've definitely broken away here, are we going to see a crazy last lap or last 2 laps here? With them going for something? Have they been waiting this entire time, or is it that difficult to pass? It's honestly hard to really relate this one, I think, with how they're playing it. But I recall the last Tsukuba race, Linus, being a lot like this, where it became quite frantic at the very last minute. A bit like an 800-meter sprint race on a running track. Everybody stays together for the majority of the race, going for it in the last lap, as it were. And we're not really seeing much yet from them, but I got to think PM Jones has got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, just saw a replay there as well of Baranowski getting turned around by, I believe that might have been Mark Langford or possibly Daniel Tufts. Couldn't really see who that was, but he got going again, so he's in P number 11, didn't lose too much. But the leader's here, 1.5 laps to go now, on board with Simon Edwards. So you can see a lock up there from PM Jones, I believe that was in 2nd place. Coming down into the final corner for the 2nd to final time in this race. Meanwhile, Rhys Saunders have fallen way off the group in front of him. That's actually where Baranowski, no, he was not part of that group. So Rhys Saunders has dropped off the 2nd group there. So those are only 3 cars as well, but he's still holding 7th place. Now on to the final lap. It's Lee Hughes, it's PM Jones. He's going to peek up the inside, but he's not going to be close enough. He just does not have enough speed to get there. Now Simon Edwards right on the back of him. Is he going to be able to do anything? He's just been sitting back there the whole race, and well, not really sure if any of these guys know where they can make a pass. I think Lee Hughes is just way too fast. The group behind as well, Redford, Anderson, Grillo, they've sort of spread out a little bit, so no moves being able to be made back there either. For now, we're going to keep an eye on that, but for our leader, Simon Edwards moves wide there. That's going to be it for him. So it's PM Jones, all they use. He's got 2 more corners to do something into turn number 8. He's not going to be close. He's going to set him up for the exit. It's going to be 1 corner to go, but the outside gives the over speed coming onto the start finish line straight. So if he's going to go anywhere, it's probably going to be to the inside, and that's going to be an advantage for their use. Here they come. PM Jones will look up the inside. He will. He's going to put it in there. He's not going to even going to get slide overlap though. So it's going to be Leaus leading every single inch of this race, and he is going to come home to win at Tsukuba ahead of PM Jones and Simon Edwards. And here comes the 2nd group. It's going to be Redford ahead of Lee Anderson, Paul Grillo, Rhys Saunders in P number 7. So wow, here they come side by side though for P number 9. That's Williams and Langford. Clark Williams is going to hold it on the outside there. Langford in P number 10. So even though they were close across the line, there were never really any challenges. That was a bit of a weird one, Rachel.
Certainly is, Linus. That was a really tricky one. I think to see it was one of those tracks, it just makes it so hard to pass that it's hard to really get the opportunity. And do you wait? Do you go late? Do you go early? But they finished in the order they qualified, and it could literally have been they simply were as fast as they were. Lee Hughes was just faster than PM Jones and Edwards on this track based on their qualifying. The gaps, if we look at them, were not huge, but they weren't insignificant. You know, they were each spread by about 0.04 of a second. So it's plausible this has literally just been a case of the fastest guy won.
Yeah, definitely. Simon Edwards had the fastest lap at the end there, but Lee Hughes definitely qualified on pole, led every single lap of the race, and here we have a replay of Ben Daniels and his little incident again, as he just pulled off the track on the final lap. That might have been after the finish, I'm not really sure, but everybody has come across the line, so let's go through the post-race results. It's going to be Leah Hughes coming home with the win ahead of Anthony PM Jones and Simon Edwards in third. That's going to mean that Simon Edwards takes over the championship lead, as Ewan Panson did not participate in today's race. It's going to be Will Redford in fourth, Lee Anderson in fifth, Paul Grillo in sixth, and Rhys Saunders holding on to that seventh place at the end. Daniel Tufts just beating Clark Williams for ninth, and then Mark Langford in P number 10. Andrew Baranowski in 11th, Adam Miles in 12th, Dave Kirkman in 13th, Jack Knight 14th, Bray Peasley 15th, Nicholas Vaughan Roberts recovers to 16th, Seth Brown in 17th, Christopher Miles in 18th, Kevin Budgeon in 19th, and then Chris Bassett in the 20th position. The rest of the results up on your screen, and well, Rachel, that was quite interesting there. I thought there was going to be a lot more passing back in the field. There was some great battles, but Lee Hughes, he just had way too much speed all the way through the race.
Yeah, I think you're right, Liz. He really did. Lee Hughes had a good head of steam on him today, and it was enough to basically beat out the competition. Great drive by those three guys in general. They all powered away from the field, but it's one of those tracks where fast guy won.
It did, and that's his third win of the season, actually, in 6 races. So he's won half the races, but he's still outside the top 3 because of those other races not having been very kind to him. So he's got an average finish of 14th, even though he's got 3 wins. So definitely well needed, and when those drop weeks comes into play, I think he's going to be way further up there. As we get a replay here of the 85 car going flying, flipping. I believe this was at the very start. See who that is. 85 Adam Miles. That's actually after the finish. He made some sort of contact there. As we have our first victim of the day, Rhys Saunders. Good qualifying effort, and then a very good start and a good race, coming home in P number 7. How was your day?
It was really well. It was just a nice and clean race. I didn't quite have the pace of the cars in front of me, but was just able to hold on in the draft. And yeah, it was all kind of led through from that strong qualifying.
Yeah, you had a really good start there, gained 2 positions right away. Thought almost you were going to be able to go up and compete for the win, but it looked like you were struggling there towards the end. Was that right, or was it just that everybody was just too fast, or what was going on?
Yeah, essentially I'd reached the limitations of my skill level. So I was driving out my skin for the first 20, and the pace just dropped off towards the end when I was running out of talent.
Oh well, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, big shout out to Will Redford, actually. He was giving me plenty of advice during the practice and qualifying sessions to get me up to speed, so big shout out to Will.
Well, thank you for that. And speaking of Will Redford, 4th position today, starting 6th, so another solid day for Mr. Redford Jr. Tell us about your race.
It was a good race from start to finish. I didn't kill anyone this week, so that's always nice. Quali, again, just normal, like around 7th place. It's normally where I am pace-wise. And then it's just a matter of driving the race and just keeping your pace up. And that's what I did. I managed to get past Lee, and then I didn't have the pace to catch the top 3. Some people are just faster, and that's how it went for the rest of the race, really. It's just keeping in front of Lee and keeping my pace up.
Yeah, well, great job there, finishing in 4th position, doing exactly what you had to do. Anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Shout out to my dad, as usual. Pretty sure he crashed this time.
Yep, 31st.
31st, alright. Shout out to my team, Turn 4 Motorsports. You guys for hosting or doing the broadcast, and yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Rachel standing by with our new championship leader, Simon Edwards.
We certainly do, Simon. It must feel good to be back on top in the point standings. It's looked like a pretty tough race for you today.
Yeah, I didn't realise I was on top. It doesn't really matter. You're so stuck here. You just can't make a move unless they make a mistake. And in third, it's even worse because you've got that braking delay, throttle delay behind them. So you're always half a step behind them. But I was just waiting to see if Anthony would have a go at clear at some point, but he never quite got there. So, and then I made a mistake on the last lap trying to get really close. So even if they had made a time loss, I couldn't sneak through anyway. So I hope it wasn't too boring on the broadcast.
It was actually a surprisingly interesting race regarding that. But Simon, Tsukuba, where are the opportunities really to pass?
Really into the last corner, and so, a bit out of the last corner as well. If you can put them you get them offline into the last corner, then you have a chance into the first corner. But it's all about the last corner really, unless they make a mistake, unless somebody makes a mistake in one of the hairpins.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Simon. Congratulations on being back on top in the points. Is this something that you can bring forward?
Well, I hope so. I hope there's more firsts and seconds. I don't like third. Third is like I've definitely not done good enough. But it was a good race. You know, they had the pace on me, so I can't complain. Nobody stole anything. They actually did it on pace, so that was great.
Well, thanks for joining us. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
My sponsor, Masternaut, Alan Patterson, for running the league as he does, and RaceSpot as usual.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Simon. And sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say you guys are always doing a great job, and there's Hugo and Linus, yourself, and the other broadcasters that are normally here as well. That's always great.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll hope to see you next time. That was Simon Edwards coming home in third place today, Linus.
Thank you for that, Rachel. And finally, we have Dave Kirkman. Another very busy race for you. Started 15th, finished 13th. Tell us about your eventful evening.
Oh yeah, that was a tough race. I've been trying to practice my qualifying, trying to work out the magic that everyone at the top seems to understand how to warm their tyres up. I didn't do too bad qualifying 15th, but the race was pretty intense, really, with Jack for pretty much most of the race. It was one of those sort of occasions where I thought I should let him go because he was sort of tapping the back of me, and I did let him go, and then I realised that was a mistake because I was faster than him. So then I spent ages to try and find a passing place, and at this track, trying to overtake is so difficult. So I did actually get past him in the end, and managed to maintain that all the way to the end of the race. So I was quite pleased, actually, in the end, finishing 13th. So I'm still kind of keeping up there and keeping up in the points.
Yeah, I lost a position to Clark Williams, who's now ahead by 1 point, but still in the top 10 there in the point standing. So going into Detroit next week, though, is that a track that you like?
I do like Detroit, yeah. I think what someone said, it was a bit like an indoor karting track, really, because of the barriers. It is good fun, and normally I've had actually quite a lot of bad luck there, unfortunately, by being hit by other people. So hopefully this one will be a bit different, and I'll be able to maintain my good form and getting some more points. Basically, my target is to finish higher than 8th in the championship this season. 8th is my best so far, so if I can maintain 7th, then that would be good.
Yeah, looking good on that for now. So anybody want to send a shout out to?
You always ask me that. I'll just say thanks to everyone for covering the race, you guys, and my competitors for racing really hard but fair. Jack Knight was very fair today. I tapped him a few times and he tapped me a few times, and it was a good fun. But yeah,
just thanks to Alan, as usual, for organising the league.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dave. Rachel, next week though, Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle Street Circuit. Anything? Any thoughts ahead of that?
It's going to be a tricky one. Of course, Detroit's always a tight and difficult circuit, so it should be interesting.
It definitely will. Championship standings, it's Simon Edwards up to 178 points, now leading 16 ahead of Ewan Pattinson, another 2 ahead of Lee Anderson, and then Leah Hughes at 148, Will Redford in 5th at 139. Then that battle we were talking about with Clark Williams and Dave Kirkman, 1 point apart, with Daniel Tufts, Juan Robertson, and Jack Knight rounding out the top 10. That is how we look at the halfway point of the season. Next week, though, like we said, we're going to the Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle, which is going to be an amazing race yet again. We had some massive crashes there last time, so you don't really want to miss that. But that is in 1 week's time. I've been Linus Brostrom, joined as always by Rachel Whitefoot, with Hugo Lees doing the amazing job on the cameras. You've been watching Monday Night Skip Barber series on RaceSpotTV in association with the Calm Zone. So thank you for joining us, and see you in 1 week's time. Until then, take care and stay safe. Goodbye, everybody.